So Wall Street silver has been in the news a lot recently, and some of it has been really, really good. I've noticed some spicy comments here and there from certain people, some I wouldn't say backhanded compliments, more kind of like underneath the surface insults. But I will say that just the fact that they're showing Wall Street silver on the news, in my view, all news is good news because there are going to be people who are reading these articles, who will read through the BS, watch videos, see through the BS, and say, okay, they have a point here. Inflation is getting crazy. My purchasing power of my US dollar is going down. Might as well start stacking some silver because when you look at other assets, it's actually one of the cheapest to start hedging against inflation for the long term. And again, I've mentioned before, the volatility on the asset is extremely low. So you're not waking up every day thinking with night sweats, thinking like, oh man, like, did my silver just go down 10% or 15%? Did it just jump up 30%? And the next day, did it just jump down 20%? It's not doing that at all. So let's take a look at one of these articles, and I'll show you another video that people keep talking about, and or the people from this video, and I watched the whole clip, and I'll show you one thing that they said that I'm not really too fond of. But let's start with this: can Reddit silver apes beat the market? Now they start talking about one of these guys, Kerry Cracker, who basically buys silver, about half of his disposable income every week, and buys silver coins. So basically, his strategy is to dollar cost average. And some of you guys who know me know that I tend to like to, just go in and buy the dips. There's nothing right or wrong about either strategy. It's pretty much whatever you choose. But when they write about these, about Wall Street silver, they kind of focus a little bit on like some of the, I guess you could say some of the extremes of it. If you take a look here, it says silver costs $26 an ounce. Stackers think the price will rise as inflation erodes the value of currencies, demand for silver rises, and supplies run short. Now, here's the thing about that. It's not that we think that it happens. It's that it does happen. That's why silver is $26 today versus $1.50, which is where it was in the early 70s. As inflation erodes the value of currencies, silver goes up in price. That's not something that we think happens. That's just something that does happen. It happens not just with silver, but with other commodities that you can take a look at. It happens with now a tier one asset, gold, who is a foreign currency now, according to the Basel framework. And it's something that, again, we don't think happens. It's something that does happen. So again, this almost kind of seems like a little bit of a jab there. And then here they start to talk about the price increases or the percentage increases. Some say that buying the bars and coins, they can jack up prices by 100% or even 1,000% to the point where they can call the shots against the so-called bullion banks, the large financial institutions which lead trade in precious metals. Now, the market is very, very small, but for them to say or word it in this way, like they can call the shots against the bullion banks, you already know what they're trying to do. They're trying to say like, hey, these guys are a bunch of nut jobs, and they think that they can increase the price of silver 100% or 1,000%. And for me, though there are people who believe that these squeezes can happen in a very short amount of time, I personally think that prices can rise in extreme ways, but over a longer period of time. And that's why I say gold and silver are more of a long-term game as opposed to a short-term game. This isn't AMC. This isn't GameStop. And if you take a look at this image here, this is what I'm talking about. So a lot of people are referring to this video from CNBC from Christina and Tyler on the, I guess, power lunch break. And during the time, Tyler, asked Christina to, hand him the bar and so he can see what it's like and I guess he's never held a silver bar before. He's, taken back by the weight of it. He seems like he really likes it. But then towards the very end of the clip, you have to watch the very end. He hands the bar back to Christina and says, all right, short that. And the clip ends. And, she kind of laughs a little jokingly there. But for me, again, I think a lot of these mainstream sources, they post these articles or these videos talking about Wall Street silver, and they almost do it in a way for them to essentially just get views because they know people are watching and know people are talking about Wall Street silver, but they're not doing it in a supportive way. Again, for someone to hold the bar, look at it like he's like really interested in it, and then to say, hey, short this thing. It basically tells you what their agenda is. It's, hey, let's get some views here, let's get some viewership, and we don't really care about this thing. So for me, I do see the positive where, hey, they're at least shining a light on silver, so those who are interested in silver can, do their own research and maybe get into it if they like. But for me, I'm not a big fan of, I guess, some of these like backhanded compliments, that I'm seeing on some of these news reports, whether it's in written word or on video. So let me know what you think about all that in the comments below.